Boys, our dear, innocent, mature, lovely friend Mihara is absolutely not going to have a good time from here on out. This is not a good direction for her. I know she loves the pain, she loves to endure it all, but this is not the way. She has made a deal with the devil. She is very unique. Not only was she part of the squad that took down Gluttony, the one responsible for the ICBM devastation, her and her honestly quite small group of friends took down Gluttony by themselves, or rather chased him away. That's already the first step of having all eyes on you. Another reason is that she is one of two Nikkeis that have been successful in the joining of the Deep Protocol. We don't know what the Deep Protocol is. We do know that Rappy Red Hood, was the only other character in the entire game that went through more of a natural transformation through Deep than what Mihara went through. And there is that small chance that GN and MMR don't actually know about Rappy's transformation, which is a good thing. So that means to GN, if that is the case, Mihara is the only successful Nikkei, because Yuni wasn't really. Like, she's way more of an experiment than Mihara is. Mihara is the only Nikkei that has been successful with the Deep Protocol transformation. In other words, she made a deal with the devil. She really did. This isn't even a life and death deal. This is a lifetime of torture, of torment, potentially, that she made a deal with just to save her friends, which, for sure is noble. But I don't think she knows what she got herself into. She does not know the extent of the pain and suffering that she might inflict, not just on herself, but all those around her. Let's get into it. GN is not going to let go of 2 specimen, as I mentioned before, 2 specimen as fine as Wardress. Yuni is great for experiments. There's plenty to learn from her. The black box was successful. Again, we have no idea what Jen and the rest of MMR is capable of. What she can get away with potentially goes beyond anything we've ever seen. This is a dangerous woman, probably. Hopefully not, right? We like Jen. We like her looks. She's kind of, mysterious. She's got problems, let's say, but she can be nice. She seems to have upheld her end of the bargain by releasing Mori. Now, we don't actually know if Mori's completely released, but, she's not all bad. And we still have Xuen, right? Xuen does regard Wardress deep down, she does regard Wardress as her pride. They were even her friends at one point. They do mean quite a bit to her, although she kind of gave up on them at the end. Not entirely, though. She does have feelings for them. And now that they've been successful, now that they have the eyes of MMR on them, Xuen either has to know this. Maybe she doesn't know anything about MMR. We don't know. We don't have any confirmation. I mean, she knows about MMR, but she doesn't know the deeper aspects of MMR. We don't know that. But if she does, she can be the person to confront Jian and be like, hey, what are you doing to my girls? What are you doing to my lovely BDSM companions? Okay? She doesn't mind as much if they just went out and died a pathetic death doing what they would do. Their chokers explode and they both die. Okay. That sucks. She's going to be sad, but that's that. It's completely different for them to be the inhumane subjects of her big sister. That's worse than death. I'm assuming she knows that. It is a lifetime, maybe longer, of torment and suffering. We've already covered this. I don't think Xuen wants to see her pride, her once companions, ruined like that. She has to come in and stop it at some point. And maybe that'll be one step in the direction of her redemption. We don't know how they're going to write this. And of course, back to Mori. Let's be real, I don't think Mori is safe either. She's gotten to the point where she knows too much. She knows about the experiments. She knows what happened with the black box and what happened with Yuni. She kind of knows what Yuni is. She knows a little bit about Mihara and her experiments. She knows that Jien is behind all of this. She knows a little bit too much. If they want to be cautious, if they don't want the secret to get out, which maybe they don't care, but if they do, Mori is probably going to be a target. So it's actually a good thing that she's stuck with the goddesses, let's be real. I don't know how safe it is to be going out in the surface trying to find the rest of Cinderella's companions, which somehow seem to be intertwined with extreme forms of danger. And now that we've gotten confirmation that the twins are no longer on the side of humanity, we don't know what that means. They could be heretics, they could be... who knows? Okay, we were getting off topic there. Back to Mihara. Mihara is screwed because, well, she also has a choker bomb, is that the word? On her neck. And it is on a timer. It is a time bomb. I think it mentioned that it lasts for about a month. So she has to return to the Ark, get it replaced within a month. Otherwise, it explodes, and it doesn't matter if it's Yuni's that explodes or hers, they both blow up dead. Goodbye. Clearly, that is going to be a problem for this more or less scout party. This is a party in charge of going after major raptures and potentially subduing them or learning more about them, whatever it is. I can imagine that there are going to be some raptures that are way out there. Maybe raptors like Mother Whale that are flying and are hard to get to. Clearly, it's been a part of the story. They mentioned it specifically as a part so that one day it will be a problem. 1 month's time isn't quite enough for a scout team. And there's going to be a situation that either they forget that it's on a month timer or there's nothing they can do and it goes over the month and boom, dunge. Here's another one. Yuni isn't as successful as Mihara is with the deep transformation. This is pretty clear. Yuni has problems with this experiment, but Mihara was way more compatible. If Yuni fully turns into a rapture, this time without Siren to help them, Mihara will have to be the one to end her. She will have to kill her friend, and guess what? She probably dies too. Or something that is way more likely, if Yuni turns and messes with her choker, as in Yuni's choker, they're also both dead. Okay, so we all saw that Gluttony got his ass whooped, he turned his tail and ran, but that's the problem too. He ran, he's alive, it's alive. I shouldn't say he, I don't know what it is. It could be, I don't know where I was going with that. It is still alive. It could easily regenerate. I'm assuming it could regenerate. It seems like every heretic and high-level rapture can regenerate. So it regenerates. It goes back to full capacity. It no longer has Siren within it, trying to dismantle it from within. It no longer has that hindrance. Now it can go out, find some energy sources, consume it, and go back to full power. What's it going to remember the most? Is it going to remember Siren being in it for a while and doing all this bullshit on it? Potentially, yeah. But I think over anything else, it's going to remember Mihara doing all that pain. Okay, she was looking at it, making fun of it. You know, does it feel bad? That's what people are going to remember, okay? If you were Gluttony, that's what you're going to remember. You're not going to remember Mori, running in like, ah! You're not going to remember that. You are going to remember Mihara, of all people, smiling at you with that face, okay? With that attractive face. Looking at you and going, oh, you like how that feels? I love how this feels. And while you're screaming at the top of your lungs because of how painful it is, that is what Gluttony is going to remember. And I imagine if it has any sense of revenge, it's going to find Siren and be like, okay, I can't deal with this. There's like 4 unbelievably fucking powerful goddesses here. I'm out, baby. And then it's going to go back to Mihara and be like, all right, bitch, I'm going to eat you up, okay? And your friend. And your stupid robot friend. I'm going to eat both of you up. That's going to be a problem. I did say she's screwed in every single way. We can't forget that also in gameplay, she is screwed. Listen, I'm no gameplay expert. That's well known by now. Mihara is great for bossing, but seems to suck in everything else. Now, for a 1% unit, basically the same as a pilgrim, she's an overspec, she's the second overspec of all time. A 1% drop rate unit being this underwhelming is a bit concerning for her. What else is she screwed in? She's screwed in her stupid gacha art. I shouldn't say stupid, it's quite nice. But I ain't going to pay all that money to see her face. Her face is nice, but I'm not going to pay all that money to not have the option at the very least, have the option of either seeing her face, if you want to be more romantic, or seeing that back shot, baby. That's what we pay for. That's what they pay for. I know this has already been blasted through the moon, but come on, I need to reiterate this. She's screwed in that aspect too. Once they see that the art that they wanted to see isn't on the home screen, who is going to pay for this skin? Okay, the skin is still good. Fair enough. I'm just saying, at least give us the option. Give us the option to see both sides. Come on, man. Is it really that hard? Just put it into the game. Here you go. Boom, boom. Option 1, option 2. You want to see her face? Fantastic. You want to see her incredibly detailed. Okay, I mean, I'm trying to dodge the actual point of it. You want to see that part? Boom, we'll give it to you. You spent $60, maybe less. That's the least they could do. Mihara is also screwed because from the commander's perspective, okay, now we're talking about the commander again. If the commander finds out that she willingly wore a bomb choker to share Yuni's guilt, and remember, commander's not so sure about Yuni. He's not a huge fan of Yuni, okay? They haven't resolved the consequences of the terrorist attack. I imagine he believes she deserves what happened to her. So now that Mihara, who was an accomplice, but not really, she was just there. If he finds that Mihara is now sharing her guilt and putting her life on the line, I imagine he's quite frustrated. He'd be like, why are you doing this? Why are you putting your precious life on the line for this girl that killed hundreds of people? For what? Because she was jealous? Because she wanted revenge on someone? And Mihara will have a proper response, and it's justified. Hey, she's my best friend. She's literally my partner. We're always going to be together, and that's the point. If she dies, I go with her. But still, that's like, Commander's like, hey, what about me, bro? What if she dies? Hey, what about me? You just gonna blow up with her? And the time bomb choker is seriously a problem, okay? Whenever Mihara reunites with Commander, let's be real, Commander is going to be aroused by her new look, just like we were when we saw it, okay? This is a massive upgrade to her original. The original's face I loved, okay? She had a wonderful face in her original, but it was badly censored. It looked off, okay? She just looked off. Now she looks fantastic. I have zero complaints. This is a character you find in Nikkei and Nikkei alone. Back to the commander. He's going to be heavily puffing, okay, when he sees this woman again. This time, she's a ticking time bomb. You know what kind of thrill that is? This is a new experience for both of them. But he needs to get in there and get out ASAP. He's got no time to play games. So to recap, is Mihara screwed? Yes, and I think she enjoys it for the most part. But story-wise, she is walking into a torture chamber that isn't just physical. She's walking into something she cannot get out of and that will put others in danger. At the point when she made this decision, when she made the deal, she really had no choice. It was saving the lives of 2 different people that she cared about. Can't blame her too much. But now everything rests on her shoulders. I expect she's going to grow as a person, reconnect with Commander, and show him that she's not just this BDSM woman who loves getting railed with multiple objects. She wants to do that, but do it in order to save her friends. Only in Nikkei, baby. Only in Nikkei. What kind of discussion is this? What are we even talking about? Only in Nikkei.